made, of course, since he's been in the NBA, but he's been in the league forever. Hey, now!
Prospects for the NBA come in many ways. Some are impressive prospects, others are exciting or promising. And then there's Victor Wembanyama. One glance at him on the court, and you can feel his gushing of generational talent. It's no surprise, therefore, that the media, scouts, and even your favorite NBA players, including LeBron James, are all abuzz about it. But when the GOAT appears to be more excited about Victor than he is about his own kid, you know Wembanyama is something special.
One thing, everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years, but he's more like an alien.
In this video, we'll show you just how special Victor is and why LeBron is more hyped about him than Bronny. Be sure to stick around until the end. You won't want to miss any part. The old saying goes like father, like son. And despite LeBron's son Bronny being a top baller at a young age, the saying isn't exactly true in the James family. Being a talented player at his age, words of praise aren't all that has come Bronny's way. It's a near impossible line to walk when you're the child of arguably the greatest ever. How can anyone truly live up to the expectation, let alone young Bronny? Bronny, over time, discovered himself taking the same career path as his father, but the differences between the two cannot be overlooked, particularly when it comes to their physique. For one, Bronny's already at the age his father was when he decided to enter his name into the NBA draft out of high school and become a pro. And although the NBA rules don't work the same way anymore, it's hard to say Bronny is ready for the big leagues now. Bronny stands at 6 feet 3 inches, weighing 180 pounds as the point guard or shooting guard. Not bad. Not bad at all. But putting into context that his father, who's far from the most physical player in the NBA, stands at 6 feet 8 inches with a weight of 240 pounds and a wingspan of 7 foot and a quarter inch, it's clear Bronny still has a lot to improve on his physique before he can be considered draft ready. LeBron had an NBA-ready frame coming out of high school, but what Bronny lacks in size, he more than makes up for in talent, finesse, and proficiency with a smooth shooting stroke and efficient ball handling and passing. Since the day he was born, Bronny's always been in the public eye. Being arguably the greatest of all time's eldest son, it ensures that Bronny will always be the subject of social media scrutiny. LeBron's immense success as the face of the NBA may have just put Bronny in shoes too big for him to fill. While LeBron himself doesn't want to put pressure on his son, he has admitted that by naming his son after himself, Bronny's full name is LeBron Raymond James Jr., he has inadvertently added extra weight onto Bronny by asking him to carry on the family legacy. When it comes to Victor Wembanyama, however, everything's in order for him. He surely doesn't have any last name to put pressure on him or a father's legacy to follow. He gets to build his own legacy, and one look at him, you can tell he's more than capable of doing that. The 18-year-old French giant moves like a shooting guard and has become a media sensation in the NBA, even without having played a single minute in the league. His height of 7 feet 4 and his wingspan of about 8 feet often make it seem like he's in two places at once. As a tall player, he's silky smooth, yet he hardly needs to leave the ground to block shots or grab rebounds. He's a shot blocker who can guard shooters on the perimeter and clean up defensive boards. Offensively, he's a mobile pick-and-roll player who slips to the basket for easy dunks. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, best believe it, because Victor isn't slowing down anytime soon. Victor is already well known for being one of the most physically talented NBA draft prospects we've seen in a long time, which provides him an advantage over his contemporaries because he appears to be playing the game on easy mode. And by peers, we aren't talking about high school boys. No, not at all. Victor plays for the Metropolitans 92 of the LNB Pro A, and if you aren't familiar with French basketball, we'll break it to you that the LNB Pro A is the highest level of professional basketball in France. Clearly, he's never really been your typical draftee, and perhaps he never will be because, in 8 months, he'll almost certainly be the top pick in the NBA draft. Many already believe that he's the most hyped teenager since LeBron James, and sure enough, this hype has brought him comparisons to both present and past NBA icons, from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Hakeem Olajuwon to Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. NBA officials and players alike have completely fallen in love with him and can't seem to get enough of him. Nicolas Alberani, the sporting director for French club SIG Strasbourg, is one of those so hyped about Wembanyama, telling The Guardian, "When he's on the floor, it's a different game. You can believe you can shoot because he's not that near, but he's so long that you don't know how close he is, and you're not allowed to contest any of his passes. He's like an extra point guard. He usually shoots wide open because no one can get there." He continued, saying, "When I see him play, I become a basketball fan. He's a one-of-a-kind bundle of everything. As long as he stays healthy, I believe he has the potential to be one of the finest players in the game's history." Well, he's just a sporting director in France. He hasn't seen how good NBA players are. If that's what you're thinking, then what about when Kevin Durant joins the chorus? Durant himself recently said in an interview, "That sort of talent and skill makes you grin if you like basketball. The game's progress has brought us thus far. We've got a 7'5" guy that can do it all on the court. Many individuals find it encouraging. Someone likened him to a couple of guys in the league, and he remarked, "I believe comparing myself to one or two players would be unfair to myself. I'm going to steal from everyone." That's a deep remark, and it's made me a great fan of his. It's no surprise that Durant would like Victor, as many scouts have made comparisons between the youngster and Kevin Durant, who's considered arguably the best pure scorer in the history of the NBA. Wembanyama has also been compared with fellow Frenchman Rudy Gobert, a three-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, and that kind of praise doesn't come cheaply. His fine blend of size, speed, and a soft shooting touch continually mesmerizes fans and solidifies his standing as the most coveted NBA prospect since LeBron James, who went number 1 overall in the 2003 NBA Draft. Turns out even LeBron James has his own opinion about the 18-year-old superstar whose name is on everyone's lips as far as NBA is concerned, raining praises on him after watching Wembanyama's stateside debut. After the Los Angeles Lakers preseason game against the Phoenix Suns, James described Wembanyama as a generational talent who's more like an extraterrestrial than a unicorn. In his words, he said, "Everyone has been a unicorn in recent years, but he looks more like an extraterrestrial. No one has ever seen anybody as tall as him but is fluid and elegant on the floor. His ability to put the ball on the floor, shoot step-back jumpers off of the post, step-back threes, catch-and-shoot threes, and block shots at his size, he's unquestionably a generational talent." Clearly, LeBron is super hyped about Victor, and from the look of things, it's even more than he's ever been about his son Bronny. Put aside being his father, and you can clearly see why King James should be more hyped. As we get farther into the new year, the Victor Wembanyama 2023 draft sweepstakes have fast become a hot topic. Some team officials say he should sit out the remainder of the season because he's already a lock for the first selection. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. More so because he was separated from being the number 1 overall pick in the 2022 NBA Draft by just 4 days, as the French super prospect was born on January 4th, 2004, just missing the age cutoff for international eligibility. As things stand, the 2022-23 NBA season is set to offer twin prizes: the championship for teams competing at the top of the league, and the opportunity to win the rights to have the best prospect, and to potentially have LeBron James on your squad after the draft. Bronny James, on the other hand, will not be draft eligible until 2024. That's only due to the NBA and NBAPA talking about a new collective bargaining agreement that would allow LeBron's son and other fresh-off high school prospects to be eligible to enter the 2024 NBA Draft. A few months ago, Sham Charania of The Athletic claimed that the NBA and NBAPA are in serious negotiations regarding new collective bargaining agreement provisions, one of which would drop the draft age from 19 to 18. This might imply that James will enter the NBA straight out of high school like his father did in 2003, when he was picked first overall out of St. Vincent St. Mary in Akron, Ohio. For now though, Bronny is preparing for his senior year in high school, and sure enough, he'll still be one of the nation's best. Add the likes of DeJuan Wagner, and you can be sure the 2024 NBA Draft will also be one for the ages. Bronny James, LeBron's son, is already a top prospect, but based on his physique, he's less NBA ready than his father was in his high school days. Someone who is NBA ready and possibly the most hyped draft pick in decades is the French hybrid of Big Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Kevin Durant all in one, Victor Wembanyama. Even LeBron James seems to have bought into the hype for the Frenchman, who has the edge of being in the league a full year ahead of Bronny as he's eligible for the 2023 NBA Draft, while Bronny has to wait until 2024. We can't wait to see Wembanyama conquer the NBA. Can you?